right, Kristle, you ready to shoot?
Ready.
Gosh, Kyle's here. Where is Hunter? Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta find Hunter. Hunter! 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 Man, where is he? Hunter! Where? Hunter! Hunter! Man, where is he? Come on! Where is that guy? I gotta shoot, man. Ooh, coffee. Still warm. He must be close. Where did he go?
Sweet, no kids. Oh! I can hear the ocean. Oh, what's that?
The playground.
Oh shoot, there's Nate.
Nope. Man, where could he be? Hunter, where have you been, man?
Where have you been? I've been looking for you up in here.
Well, I mean, we're ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go, man, go.
All right, guys, so this week, if you'd like to follow along with me, I'm going to be reading the story out of Luke 2. There's another version of the same story also in Matthew 2.
Hey, while you're looking up the verse, I want to remind you where we're at. Remember, just last week, we covered Jesus being dedicated. We fast forward just a few years to Jesus being taken to the temple. Now, Jesus' family did this each and every year. They went to Jerusalem to visit and to give sacrifices. So as you're thinking through that, make sure you understand that this is the same place all of those other things have happened. This is the same place that Anna and Simeon both met Jesus and that Mary heard that he was going to be the Christ.
All right, as we get ready for our story for today, let's revisit our big picture question. Is Jesus fully God or fully man or both? So as we listen to the story today, think about how this answers our big picture question.
So, after Jesus was born, 3 wise men came and found him and actually brought gifts to Mary and Joseph. Those gifts were gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And they wanted to honor Jesus because they had seen a star way off and they followed it until they found him. And so it kind of got rough for Jesus and Mary and Joseph. So it says that after the wise men worshiped him, they departed. But King Herod actually gave an order that all the male children in the kingdom were to be killed because he was afraid of who Jesus was and what that might mean for him. So Mary and Joseph went and hid out in Egypt until Herod died, and then they returned.
Every year, Mary and Joseph would travel to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. This was a celebration of God saving his people from slavery in Egypt.
So Jesus was about 12 years old and they made this trip to Jerusalem. And Mary and Joseph decided to worship with their family and friends. And when it was time to go home, they actually set out and left Jerusalem.
After a day of traveling, Mary and Joseph looked around and noticed that they couldn't find Jesus. And so they asked their entire caravan where he was, and they could not find him. Worried, they traveled back to Jerusalem.
And they looked for 3 more days before they found Jesus. Jesus was actually in the temple, and all around him were the teachers and the religious scholars, and Jesus was asking them questions and talking with them, and everyone was so completely astonished at how much Jesus knew and the questions that he was asking. When Jesus' parents saw him, they were super surprised and obviously very relieved to see him, and Mary said, "Son, why have you done this? Your father and I were worried, and we've been looking everywhere for you."
Jesus said, "Why were you looking for me? Didn't you know that I had to be in my Father's house?" But Mary and Joseph did not understand what this meant at the time.
But when Jesus went back to Nazareth with Mary and Joseph, he was always obedient to them. And Mary remembered all of these things, and as he grew up, he began to be more and more strong and more courageous and was highly favored by God.